M0FXP. Let's compare the RX-888 clone version to the original one made by open source SDR Labs. You can see the box there. If you get it from SDR Labs, you get it in that box. This is actually the clone. Note the connectors are gold, and with the original here, which we will do a close-up, you've got silver ones. I've taken off the screws that hold them on. And so if we look at the clone first, I've tested both. They both actually do work, well. I feel that the original does work slightly better, and we're going to show that in on SDR console in a minute. So just so you know, when you take the clone one off, take just 2 screws off on this side, and then the board comes out. Okay, and let's take a close-up look. So it's very hard for me to tell if components are good or bad, or if they're identical. Honestly, I can't really tell. So we end up having to go by how it performs. But I've been using it for a few weeks, and I'm not happy with the fact that I paid the same price for the clone as I have now for the original, because I want the original one for demonstrations. And Banggood, I normally buy from AliExpress. They're very good on returns. Click, 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 no quibble. Banggood, they were a pain in the neck, and I'm very unhappy with their system of returns, because you asked for returns. I gave them the evidence that it was a clone, and they just, after a few weeks, went, we're not going to give you a refund or even give you the option to send it back. So if Banggood, if you're listening, no, that's wrong. But anyway, normally with AliExpress, I have 0 problems. So anyway, so there's that one. Let me show you the original now. So there's our original, and the way you can tell by the case, and it's actually on the open source SDR Lab site. Look at the writing. The 888 has proper holes in the 8. That's a clone. Okay. The originals have these weird holes, but it is the original. And one of the reasons people love these receivers, they do VHF, UHF, and HF, but they also cover a very wide band. So now watch this. Now when I've taken just 2 screws off at both ends, you get cover plates. They look identical. Now when I'm trying to push this out now, it's actually really stiff, so go easy. And that's because they have these silver connectors. Is that better? I don't know. So now when we take it out, and this is actually the first time I've taken it all the way out. So don't mix them up. Yeah. So really I should label one, because they're very, very similar. Oh, of course, we got these, so we can't get it wrong. So let's turn it round and have a close look. So can you see a difference? That's what I mean by it's really hard to gauge if there's a difference, isn't there? So look at the chip there. Let's turn the chip round. We'll try and zoom in. Can you see that chip? Looks like that's the main one. I don't know, maybe it's not. And the shielding, if we go like so. Some more chips. Yeah, oh, too much. It does sort of pause and then show, doesn't it? It is quite hard to see. Right, so that's our original. Now just note that on the other side of this one, they have added some, this stuff to transfer the heat. They didn't bother on the clone, but it does look, identical, doesn't it? And they say that they're all made in the same factory. Maybe they are. Okay. Here's the clone, the gold ends. There's the chip. Looks the same, I think. Which I think for people that have bought the clone, because it's so easy to do, they'll be pleased, because they want to know that, it's still a good product, even though it's a clone. I've seen some very good videos using this device, and when I've looked, they've been a clone device. Put it back together now, and then in the part 2 of this video, and you do need a decent, and it does come with it, a nice thick, decent USB cable. The one that actually came with the clone didn't work. I had to use a different cable. I've got a few of those lying around. And then, yeah, separate antenna for VHF and UHF. But overall, I actually pretty much recommend the RX-888. Thanks for watching so far, and the next part will be testing. I'm going to connect them both within a few minutes of each other. Let's just see if there's much of a difference. Okay, now we've seen the video comparing the clone RX-888 to the original. Let's have a look at the receiver. Now the conditions aren't great, but at the moment we are looking at the clone version. So we're just going to swap them. Let's start off here, scroll through a little bit, and then swap and see if it seems any different at all. Same antenna, same connections, same everything. So let's just scroll. I'm just gonna go here on the 40 meters and just scroll through. It was busier earlier, but it seems quiet at the moment. It's such a shame. I'll try this band. Of course, you got the FT8 stuff, and there's a weak signal there. Something there, but that might be out of band. Yeah, it is. Let's try 20 meters. The nice thing about this device is it does VHF and UHF as well. It's really bad at the moment. It's very hard to compare when it's like this. Fun trying though. Well, no, I'll do it again. I'll compare again when it's busier. What's that? Some commercial stuff there. Yay! Right. Let's stop it there. Then we're just going to swap the antenna and the same USB cable as well with the original, which to me had extra insulation on it. I couldn't really see an obvious change. I did make a close-up video, so you might spot something that I didn't spot. And how do you know if components are good or not? And I've been told that these are getting made in the same factory as well, so just a different, you know, the stickers are different on the black case. The markings of the clone version is the one you're seeing in the video, where the holes in the 8s are bigger. So let's just go start. Then we'll go back to 40. LSB. Let's scroll through. If we pick something up, then we'll swap back again. Oops, going too fast. You can zoom in a bit there. Just zoom in. It's rubbish, isn't it? How are we meant to compare if it's like this? Let's go to the FT8 stuff. There's your FT8, it's all there. Right, so what signal strength we got? Sort of 9, sort of 10 plus. And we can pretty much hear that clearly. Something here we might check out in a minute. Let's stop. So that was the original. So we've stopped it, SDR console, 10 plus. What we're trying to establish is it the same? You know, is it exactly the same? I don't feel like if you've got a clone that it's a big deal at the moment. So we're going back to the clone now. So here goes. What's this thing here? Ah, we have someone. Not strong, but there's someone there. And right now we're on the clone. Okay, then we're going to stop as a weak signal. And then we're going to put the original version back on. Like so, just a 49:1 unknown and a 66-foot length of wire. Same USB cable as before, original version. And then we'll stop again, last time, back to the clone. I mean, it's actually better to test this when the conditions are rubbish, really. I mean, VHF and UHF, it's going to work really well anyway. So, back to the clone. I have to go back one last time, and I know you'll be like, why didn't you use an antenna switcher? Because I haven't dug it out, so you'll have to bear with. And you've got so many cables here, and this is, for me, I actually find this easier than a switcher. Switchers, I find them temperamental myself. I think the connections are always bad on them. Original now. Aha! That's the original. French station there. And then let's go quickly back to the clone. We get a lot of French where I live, not too far from me really. Not mind you, with HF that doesn't really make massive difference, does it really? I don't know. Ground wave. Right, hit play. And that's the clone. I don't think there's a difference myself. I think, as the seller said to me, there's not really any difference. Yeah, they had put that bit of heat dissipation, that the blue stuff that you get on devices, on CPUs. But otherwise, I'm not really seeing a difference. Bye for now. Thank you. 7